Guys, hello. Welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. And we don't want to do that many Wolves videos on this channel for obvious reasons. However, we thought we had to with this one because it's such a big story. It is a £60 million plus potential transfer. And the main reason we have to do this is that we've got to speak about this. I'm sure you've all seen the news by now. Nunes is refusing to train with the club. He's told the club he wants to leave. And it looks like Wolves have two options. Keep him, whether he keeps us up or not, hopefully he does, and then sell him in the summer. Or do we cut our losses and just let him go?
I mean, look, the man is an absolute rat, isn't he? Like, I remember halfway through last season, he said, look, guys, thanks for the support and stuff, but I like to be called Mateus and not Nunes. I like to be referred to as Mateus. In this video, you were called Nunes. If you're watching this, Nunes, you're Nunes in this video. You're a little slimy rat. You really are. He turned up. The bloke turned up. He kept us waiting the whole of last season, right? The whole of the last transfer window, the bloke did not want to come to us. And he kept rejecting us. Oh, someone bigger's coming in for me. And then they didn't. And then he goes, okay, I'll join Wolves. He then turned up. He did pretty much nothing for the whole of the season. And I'm sorry, people will say, oh, but he didn't play in his correct position. You think man like Pep is going to go, oh, it's okay to only play in one position? This guy, man, honestly, City have bid what? Is it 60 million euros, it's believed, and we want 60 million pounds. So, it's not 100% of the way out of getting done. And if I'm not mistaken, this is another Mendes client, and this is why Fosun need to never deal with this bloke again. Because every time we deal with this bloke, we get our hands stung. And honestly, the fact that he's refusing to train, especially after picking up a red card for absolutely no needed reason, the guy's a rat, man. He really is.
That red card to me now, I can only think he did that on purpose to say, I haven't got to play next week and the transfer will be done by then. And for him to get sent off on I think it's almost confirmed now in his head. To me, he thought, yeah, I'll just get sent off. And to do that in a game where he knows if you want to leave, leave. But at least try and help us. Do you know what I mean? Were we going to beat Brighton anyway? No. But,
well, as we know, he wouldn't have been available for selection anyway, because apparently he's been refusing to train since the bid come in from Man City.
Well, but it's not the point, is it? He probably thought they'll accept the bid, so I won't have to refuse to train. But when I saw this news break, it really hit me. Because we know it happens with other clubs. We've seen it with Fulham and Mitrovic, refused to play for Fulham until he gets a Saudi move. The big one last season was Anthony Gordon, really left Everton in the mud until he got his transfer. But for all of Wolves' positives and negatives over the last few years, who was the last player that has ever held the club ransom like this? I don't think it's happened for...
Stephen Fletcher would have been the last.
Has it been 10 years? You go back to Fletcher, Roger Johnson turning up to the training ground drunk, fighting with Solbakken on the training ground.
I think this is why it stings quite a bit, mate, because we're heading into a period where I think Wolves fans that have gone through that period, people of probably our age and over, we're almost getting a bit of PTSD from it, because we've had a window where we've sold over 100 million of players, yet we've spent absolutely nothing apart from signing Matt Doherty on a free. That we've got rubbish about the owners saying that we haven't got money to spend. We've got potential rumours that they're looking to sell. This feels almost like that season again for me, and we've brought in an unexperienced manager who I like a lot, but we managed to lose a very captivated and well thought of manager. And it just feels like we're going through that all again as a club. And this was almost the final straw for me. Mateus Nunes, as I keep calling him, he's an absolute rat, man. I don't want this bloke to ever put on a Wolves shirt again. And you know what? No. If City don't pay the price, that's fine with me. Don't sell him. Let him just rot in the reserves, because then I guarantee City won't come in for him in 12 months' time when he's not been playing a single minute of football for 12 months.
That's the thing, isn't it? I'd love nothing more than a club, even if it's not my club, I'd love to see a club one day just put a player with that attitude in the reserves for the next 3 years and ruin their career.
Yeah.
You've held us to ransom, so we'll
there is a
just
flip
let
side.
you rot. But it's a lot of money, though. It's a lot of money. We can't afford to do it.
You've set me up brilliantly. Hey, we get 60 mil for him. What are we going to spend of that?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Does it help balance these FFP problems we've had for the last 25 years? You know, I mean,
look, if we get 60 mil, mate, and we spend it, I'm all for it. And you know what? Also, with City, we can help them and they can help us. They've got players like Calvin Phillips that need a loan move. They've got Cole Palmer that would benefit from a great months of Premier League football. And with both of those players, if they are not good enough to get into the Wolves squad and break through that squad easy enough, then guess what? They'll never be good enough for City. Maybe not Cole Palmer because he's younger, but it remains with Phillips.
Yeah.
You know, these kind of players, you've got the young lad, a couple of young lads actually that were potentially eyeing up for in the centre mid position. We could put in some really good deals here, but the problem is, do I trust them to get it done? I like Matt Hobbs, but we don't know how much power that bloke has at the moment, because I feel that if he had a power, he would have done a lot more in this window than what we've seen.
I agree. And I'm torn. Do we just let him rot, which I think... fair enough, because he hasn't really lit the world on fire since he's been here. But then I think, do we want one player to potentially affect the whole team that is probably going to be in a relegation battle this year? So 55 million euros, 60 million pounds, 55, whatever it is. Do we just take it and get that negative, cancerous attitude out of the club?
But what happened if City refuse to bid anymore? Then what do you do? Because if you then go, actually, we rejected your bid, but now Mateus has put has trod his feet a little, we'll let him go. Because then how does that set up for the next time one of our bigger players goes, actually, I fancy a move. What happened if it's... I mean, look, I don't think he's the character to do it, but, you know, you never know. What happened if João Gomez has a great season next year and suddenly he's putting his feet down and then we're having to sell players for cheap? Let's not forget, Brighton did it with Caicedo. They said, nah. They did, didn't they? In January, they said, "No, you're not going to Arsenal, mate. You're coming back and you're playing for us."
Yeah, no, I do agree with that as well. We have to set a precedent. Guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments. This really hit me because, as you say, you've got to go back 10 years to find examples of this. We may not have been good a lot of the time in the last 10 years, but even when we were in League One and the Championship, we had players that, as a whole, they wanted to play, but this is when you're in the big league, Scott, and you've got these players. I guess you've got to expect it, haven't you? Really, but yeah, it's a shame.
Thing,
guys, let us know your thoughts. It is sad. Yeah, Scott, do you want to get us out?
Yeah, guys, as we said, let us know your thoughts on this one, because I think it is going to be divided. And obviously, guys, if you have enjoyed the video, we do Wolves content on this channel. We have a weekly Wolves live, but we do usually every Tuesday. It will be every Wednesday it will be Wednesday this week. So if you have enjoyed it, please hit that like button. Please do subscribe to the channel, and we will be back. Catch you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.